Today we're going to go through and install your new YoraHome Spindle upgrade for your 3018. Pretty much what we're going to do is remove the Z-axis spindle headgear with the old spindle, and then replace it with a new one. We're also going to replace the lead screw, and then you have a new control box that we're going to connect up. It's pretty simple, really easy process. In your package you should have received the YoraHome control box for your spindle, your Z-axis and your spindle, either the 300 or the 500, and then you have your laser ring for if you want to put a laser in it, and you have your spindle harness, and you have your new stepper motor harness, and then you also have your power cord and an Allen wrench, and then of course your set of instructions. This is going to be really easy to do. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to move some of this out of the way. I'm going to zoom in for you so that you can see exactly what we're doing, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the, this is my little view thing here. We're going to remove the Z-axis motor wire harness and then the old spindle one. I'm going to take it out of my drag chain here. You may have something different. You may not have no drag chain at all. It really doesn't matter. It's all the same concept. We're replacing it, plug it in here and so forth. And then we're going to just take this side off. It's going to come off. We're going to take the old spindle off, put the new one on, and then connect it up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way here. And I'm going to go ahead and unplug my spindle, my existing spindle, and then my motor harness here, as you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my drag chain. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this out of here. So this is my spindle wire. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. Again, if you don't have a drag chain, you just unplug it. Push the little clip right here and take it off. The wires here. Take that, let's put it aside. Same thing with my stepper motor. I'm going to pull it out of my drag chain here. I'm going to pull it out. Same thing, unplug it from the control board. And I'm going to pull it through and get this out of the way. So I would definitely hang on to them for any future things you may need with them. And so now pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to take off and move this out of the way here. We're going to take off this side of the machine. So one thing I want to note is we're removing the lead screw here, and we're replacing it with a different one. And we're also going to unscrew, there's two screws here in the coupler. But when I take this side off, one key thing that is important is you should make sure your spindle is kind of maybe down this way over here, because you don't want it here, because when you take this off, you're actually taking off your entire support arm for your gantry, and you don't want the weight pulling these rods down and bending them. So that's just kind of important. Just turn this until maybe it goes over there. Remember, you need to get to that there. And that's it. So let's go ahead and remove this out of the way. Take this off. You have 6 screws here, and then behind them is you have T-slot nuts. I would recommend not moving a whole lot so the nuts kind of stay in place. One thing I would note is you can't see it, but I have a mark here. Maybe go ahead and mark with a marker or even a piece of tape, however is better for you. Put a mark on there so that you know where the piece is going to go to. And of course you can't see mine with the camera, but I do have marks on there and I can see the pencil mark. So maybe mark it. Odds are it's going to go right back where it needs to be, but it never hurts. So go ahead and take these out. 6 down here. Remember I said there's nuts in there, so don't want to move it around too much. And your last one, just kind of take the weight off it because it's going to drop to the table. Possibly, yeah, like that. So now we're going to take these out here. Actually, I'm going to loosen these here. I'm going to just take this one. They're all the same size screws, so it's not super important you keep them all straight. Before I do that, so I don't have to struggle with it, I'm going to go ahead and, when you're looking at the coupler here, you've got 2 set screws, one here, and then when you turn it around, you have another one here. And so what we're going to do is your Allen wrench that came with your machine, just grab that and unloosen that. You don't have to take it out. If you take it out, it's not a big deal, just got to put it back in later. And then turn it and then loosen the other one. This way it's loose. When we're ready to pull this off, we could just take it right off. So now I'm going to take this bottom one out. And then I'm actually going to just put my hand here to hold on to this so that it doesn't drop. I don't want the weight on just the screws back here. I'm just really picky about that, and you never hurt. So if you turn this and your rod turns with it, just hold on to the rod a little bit. So loosen that. I'm going to hold my other hand here and take the weight off it. And then this should pop right off. You have to wiggle it a little bit. If this comes with it, you could just hold on to the lead screw and take it off. Set that aside. And then now you'll see that we took that off. This should just slide, and keep the weight off it. Don't let it hang down. Just slide it right off. Take it right off. And then you just put that out of the way. And then as you can see, that's what we have. And now all we're going to do is in the exact reverse order, we're going to put the other piece on. So the first thing we need to do is get the new lead screw into the spindle. So to do this, the new one has a, let me move the camera here a little bit for you. So you've got a backslash nut here, and backsplash nut, and then you have a stationary one on this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your lead screw, we're going to screw it into the first one here, and you're coming at, if you're looking at the spindle, you want to start on the left side. That's where it has to go in at, on the left side. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this lead screw, and be careful, it's kind of heavy. I'm trying to hold it so it's not going to fall here. We're going to put the lead screw in and just get it started turning. And once you get it started, which is if it doesn't go straight in, then just back it back out and put it back in again. And then see, now I got mine started. I just got it started, like maybe 1 turn, 2 turns maybe, so it's got some teeth. And then what you're going to do is you're going to push it in. You're going to feel the spring push. You're going to push it in, and the spring's going to actually push that rod and that backsplash nut over to the plate here, and then your lead screw is going to thread into this side here. Really easy, really simple to do. So I'm going to push it in and then turn it, and when I turn it, once I push it all the way it could go and turn it, then you'll see it'll actually start threading on this side. It's heavy, and then you got it through there. So let's just recap that again so you have this correct. I'm going to just take mine back out, and I want to show you a different way to do it. A couple of different ways. So remember, we're looking at the spindle, and we're going to put it in on the left side. Make sure I have that right. Another way to do this is lay it down on its side, and then you can do it like this here, because this is kind of heavy. So you want to kind of, you can then feel the spring pushing down when you do it. You'll see what I'm talking about. So go ahead and maybe do it this way. Just start your spinning a little bit. Now that I've got it connected, or now that I've got it threaded a little bit, now just kind of push down on it and then turn it. Oops. You don't push down hard, just enough for it to go down a little bit, and then thread it into the other side. And once it gets started, you'll feel it now that it got started. And then you just screw it in. And you'll see it come out that side. Pretty simple. I'd say about that much is probably good. Okay, so I'm going to move the camera back. Okay, now that we've got it in there, like I said, I only put it maybe about this far because, again, we're gonna slide this on your guides here, and we don't want all the weight to be on here because, as you can see, this is really flimsy. So we're gonna slide this on, and then we're gonna hold the weight off of it, and then put this back in place so to help support it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Really simple. Let me turn this for you. Move the ring. Turn it here, as you can see. All I'm doing is lining this up. 2 rod holes here. The slide guides. Here we go. Once it gets on, just go slow. Slide it all the way on easy. And when you do, you have to take your hand off it. Oop. The rod should go right into your coupler there. If it doesn't, you can just kind of help it a little bit. And you see mine just slid right in. And should go right in there. And then, again, keep support. You should be able to just put this right on. Mine went right on, as you can see. So now that's supporting the weight. So now I can just focus on getting it in. Now, one thing I want to note, whoops, see mine is sticking out a little farther, and if you can see that, which means that it's not pushed all the way into the coupler. So you may have to just give it a little bit of an assist there, maybe just push it around or something, and you may take it out, put it back in. May have to adjust the screws, shouldn't have to, but let's see. Okay, turn that back. There we go. Doesn't want to. For some reason, there we go. If for some reason yours just doesn't line up at all, then take it back off and put it back on there. Something's not right. And you may have to just give it a little push. Make sure you push it all the way in there. And in no certain order, you can go ahead and tighten them up if you're confident that you have it all the way in. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten mine. Tighten that side, then spin it around with your hand, and then tighten the other side. So there's 2. And again, how you know you got it, hold on to the side plate here, is this is flush. And that should be it. So now, I first think you should put at least a couple screws in the top here to start so that we can get the support on these rods. Might as well start off 4 of the top ones. You don't have to tighten them right now. I just want you to put them in there so that they're supported. Okay, and with my hands, get a little greasy, you might want to have a rag with you. So now these 6 here, don't forget we have nuts behind there. We've got the T-nuts, and we're going to want to try and line them right back up again. If you didn't move it a whole lot, you should be okay. One of the things, the key things that I do is I'll do this first one first. And if you can't hit it, see, you can still slide this forward, backward, and up and down. And that's why I'm not tightening anything up really tight yet. I'm going to just lift it up a little. Remember, you have to lift it up a little bit because it was up off the ground. And if you look at the other side, you can kind of see how much it was off the ground. Not a lot, but a little bit. And then I'm going to just kind of move it around to try and hit that nut. And it looks like I got it right there. So that one's started. And now I'm only going to tighten it in just a little bit with my hand until I do all 6 of them the exact same way before I snug anything down. Okay, so now that I have all of them in, they're not tight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the middle one, and I'm going to just get it up a little bit snug, And I'm going to find my mark. Find my mark what I had. Make sure that I am there, and it is actually right on there where it should be. Same thing with yours, make sure yours is on there. And then I'm going to tighten up the middle one tight, so it's not moving. And now I'm going to tighten up all 4 of the top ones. For support. And then now, any of the bottom ones, all 6 of them, or 5 what's left. Pretty simple. Let me turn this for you here. Okay, so we've got all of them tightened up. We're good here. You could turn this, just make sure you can turn it by hand. It's a little greasy, so, you know, it should turn by hand, no problem. And here. Okay, now all we have to do is connect up the new motor harness up to the new stepper motor, and then the spindle wires down to the control box. Really simple. Pretty much reverse of what you did. If you have a drag chain, we're just going to run it up through the drag chain. If you don't have a drag chain, if you have something different, just same thing is going to go on the the Z-axis motor, and then going to come up to the top here. So I'm going to go ahead and feed mine through. Your cable, you've got the 6 wires on the top, and you've got the 4 on the bottom. So the 4 go to the control board, and the 6 go to the stepper motor. So in this case, it's going to be easier for me to navigate the 4-hole through the drag chain than the 6. So I'm going to start from the top down. I was trying to find an easier way. Just kind of put it in there. It should come right through. If not, I'm going to grab my little Allen wrench and help guide me a little bit. Piece of cake. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. And that's how you know you have the right end, if it plugs in fine. I don't necessarily have to put it in the drag chain just this second, but then you have your spindle motor. Now, your spindle motor obviously is going to be, this is not going to be as easy to run through a drag chain if you have a drag chain, because this is what's going to plug into your control box. So the ends are going to be a little bit easier to go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to feed mine into here, come up, and then down, and then leave a little bit slack, a little loose, so I can adjust it as needed. Again, your drag chain, you're going to follow the exact same path, however, yours is going to be the easiest. And if you can't get it in there, I'm actually going to lay this down. If you can't get it in there, you can use your little Allen wrench or a little screwdriver to help assist you, which is what I just did there. And then same thing there. All you're doing is just running it right in. So now, as you can see, they're exposed here. I can just pull it through, and I'm going to just kind of guide it with this and the stepper motor here. So I'm going to lay these in, and I'm going to go ahead and give a couple snaps here, a couple clips I'm going to close to hold it in place, and especially the bottom one here, because I want it to lay flat right away in this one. And then I'm going to just do a couple more for measurements. I'm going to leave it a little bit loose. Whoops. Pretty easy. Pretty simple. Oops. And then mine has to come through the top here, which I forgot about. So that one there, and these 2 inside there. Really simple. Come on. I've seen some with that don't have drag chains and have, you know, the wires up on. So yeah, all you do is just have, I've seen different setups and contraptions and stuff, and the same thing. You were just going to feed the wires up through. Now in my case, I'm going to want a little bit longer spindle wire. I'm going to actually pull a little more mine out, which is why I'm leaving it loose to push through here. So that actually looks pretty good, and I'm going to go ahead and snap all these closed. Okay, so my drag chain, I'm going to go ahead and connect up my stepper motor. turn it around the front here, I'm actually going to bring this down to here on the side, which is where I want it. And then on the front, you've got your blue and your red. So again, I want to make sure that I have long enough wires to come around, and I do. And if I didn't, all you got to do is just pull a little more of your spindle wire up through so you have more room, however it fits your setup. And that's pretty much it. So just to recap, we've got all the screws on the side here, all 8 of these tight. You've got your rod through here. It should be almost flush, or definitely flush, which means that you have it pushed in enough, and then don't forget to tighten the screws here. And that's it. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to connect up the control box. And the control box, as you can see, it's got the power button, it's got the spindle control here, your speed control, sorry, you've got your spindle power, and then your 110 power. Now, in my case here, I have the wire coming over here, which is where I like it at. And all you do is you plug in the green plug right into the spindle spot here, and then I'm going to just plug in the 110. Also, one thing you might want to check too while I'm telling you is you've got a switch back here for 110 and 220. Make sure it's set for whatever you're using. I'm using 110. And let's connect this up. Make sure the switch is up so it's off before I go ahead and turn it on, or before I go ahead and plug it in. Always double check that. Okay. So one thing we're going to want to do is, before I turn it on, what we're going to do is remove your nut and your collet here, because we're going to turn this on, and if you don't want it to spin real fast and shoot this off and hit you, you definitely don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and turn your speed down, all the way down, and then we're going to turn the power on. Your light should come on, and then we're going to turn the speed up. All the way. I'm going to back it back down. And then back to off. So one thing I want you to note is when you turn it all the way to off, turn it on a real little bit, just so it's barely spinning. And make sure that it is spinning clockwise. You want it to be spinning clockwise. That's the way the drill bits go. If for some reason it's spinning counterclockwise, then you have your wires up here reversed. All you got to do is reverse them. So in my case, mine's spinning clockwise fine. That's how you control your speed. Gonna run for a second. Should sound good, just like that. And while it's on, we can kill the power to it. Okay, good. So there you have it. You've got everything connected. Now you have your, when you want to change your laser ring, you're going to remove these 2 screws here, or you're going to loosen them rather, not remove them, sorry. You're going to loosen them. This should come right out. You put your ring in there, and then you put your laser, should fit right in there, and then you just tighten them back up again. And that's pretty much it. You've got your manual adjuster here for your Z-axis, and that's it. If you have any questions, let us know. Jungle.